So now we're going to look at what you should do in high school to best prepare to apply to college, which will then be a stepping stone for law school, and just think about law even now. There are steps you can do to prepare. So let's say that you're in high school. There are a few things you could do to build up your academic profile to get ready for law school even now, or at least get ready for the colleges that are going to be good springboards to law school. So it's important to build your academic profile with specific courses that will strengthen the skills you need to become a lawyer. So you really want to focus on humanities classes. So first you want to focus on writing intensive courses like English, especially at the high levels, so AP and IB. At the very least honors, although again, this does depend on what your school offers, and colleges won't hold it against you if your school doesn't offer any APs or IBs, but maybe it only offers honors. What colleges expect is just that you're trying your best based on your circumstances and the resources available to you. So if honors is the highest level you can take, then try to take all honors. If your school does offer a lot of APs, then colleges will want to see that you're doing a lot of APs. But AP and IB level courses are especially helpful to gain a good grasp of writing. These are more intensive courses that will really prepare you for writing in college. It's also good to focus on US history. This is because a lot of the legal profession is based on an interpretation of history, and precedent is crucial in law. So this means that how a law is interpreted today is often based on how a law was interpreted throughout history. And this does change throughout history, but in general, lawyers are typically expected to stick to precedent unless there's something very unique comes up in the modern day, a new technology gets invented, something like that. Taking AP or IB US history is a good idea because it prepares you to understand history, and it also prepares you to, more importantly, analyze history or see the general trends in history. A lot of being a lawyer doesn't require knowing historical facts so much as thinking about them and analyzing previous legal cases and extrapolating some type of argument from that. And AP US history in particular is good at helping you extrapolate an argument about historical documents. It's also important to know how government works. This is because any type of law, even in the private sector, is all about, at the end of the day, government. Laws are set by the government, and lawyers are simply executing on those laws that were set through the political process. So lawyers need to understand how these laws were made. This goes into that historical interpretation idea. Part of understanding the history of law is understanding why the laws were made and also how they're made. And so lawyers need a good understanding of government in order to understand how legal systems work, everywhere from the very local level to the Supreme Court. And so these are just a few classes which can be beneficial for high school students to take. Though, of course, this doesn't mean that high school students shouldn't try to be rounded. And for any college applicant, you'll want to be well-rounded, but also have something called a spike or a particular interest demonstrated by your classes and extracurriculars. So an aspiring lawyer should still take some rigorous math classes or science classes if they can, but their focus for classes should really be on these writing-intensive and analysis-intensive humanities. Now, in high school, you could also do a variety of extracurriculars in order to best prepare for the legal profession. And so here are a few extracurriculars that can really further your skills that will be useful for law down the line and will show your interest in law. So there's job shadowing, and you can do this with local law firms that specialize in different areas of law. And so shadowing it's like an internship, except it's usually not very active. People who shadow are really just watching a lawyer go about their day. But then there's also speech and debate club. This is really good at developing argumentation skills, which are really important for lawyers because their job at the end of the day is essentially to make an argument about the law. Then there's journalism, such as being in a school newspaper or magazine. So lawyers often write a lot. and journalism can teach you how to write. Then there's mock trial. And so mock trial can give you a taste of what it's like to be a lawyer. There's Model UN, which is really good for people who are interested in the international levels of law. But even for those who are interested in law in general, it's like mock trial.